The Dale Show.
Get it to sit properly.
Nice. Waxing it up.
Waxing it up.
Waxing it up.
Whacking.
I always feel like I have to up the wacky factor whenever I pod.
You would mean the wacky factor.
Just like, hey, you're waxing your mustache. And just like, not how I talk at all.
Well, hello, Dale, and welcome to the Dale Show. I'm your co-host, Jeff Gaucher, and with me as always is Dale DeRuiter. Dale DeRuiter.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. And today we're going to look at the Twitter files.
It's about to get crazy.
Sunday. Well, I guess it's...
Yeah. You bought your seat, but you'll only need the edge.
One thing I have to clear up before I go along. This is actually episode 26.
Okay.
I've actually had the number of the episode wrong on the last like two or three.
I thought so.
I know. I kept like, I don't know why. I think it was like one of the two-parters a couple episodes back.
You missed one of the parts,
right,
and then it compounded upon itself.
Yeah, and then it just kept going. So this is episode 26. That'd be hilarious if it actually was not 26 and I just made it worse. But yeah, as I mentioned before, we're going to take a look at the Twitter files. And if you don't want to hear me read stuff, you might as well turn this off.
You're listening to the wrong podcast.
I'm sorry. I thought when I was like, I'm going to do the Twitter files, that'll be a fun thing to learn. I figured maybe there was one or two Twitter files, but there's 17 different threads. And like I was explaining to Jeff before, I went and I hunted them all down and I read like the first 15 on Twitter. And then Matt Taibbi in like Twitter file number 14, he has like, oh, by the way, here's a capsule look. And they're all broken down to like, what's the main point of them all? And I was like, oh, but I'm still glad I read through them all because they're pretty dense with information.
It's packed.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, I was like, how much info can there be in there? Because it's basically them talking about how before Elon took over Twitter, the FBI had their sticky little fingers right up the butts of Twitter and were working their mouths like
how many fingers exactly was that? You showed a lot of fingers there for folks.
I think there was like 17, one finger for every single Twitter file.
There were 9 fingers showing there. That's a lot of fingers in the butt there.
And I'll start off by talking about Matt Taibbi was actually on Joe Rogan recently, like last weekend. Episode 1940, if you want to look it up. And I was like, great. Matt Taibbi and Joe Rogan, they're going to talk about the Twitter files. I'll get a nice little intro, a nice breakdown. But if you've ever listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, it's just like this. They'll talk about something for like 10 minutes and then just go into the woods.
Yep.
And that's what they did. But they did give us a nice little snippet that I'll lead off with because Matt Taibbi was saying that the most surprising thing he gleaned from the Twitter files was how bureaucratic the whole system was and how they had the Department for Homeland Security would send emails to Twitter for stuff that was homegrown and from the States. And then FBI would send emails to Twitter with stuff dealing with international stuff. And then Joe pointed out the funniest thing about this is that it was all done over email. And the only reason we have Twitter files right now is because all those emails were kept on the servers. And when Elon took them over, he sent it to like Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss. And then they went through dissected all the emails and stuff and found out all this information.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And Matt said that's an example of how comfortable they were, that they just like, they never thought anything would happen. They figured they were comfy and they could just tell Twitter what to do. And they just send them emails with like, as you could see on the different ones I go through, they had like list of like users they wanted them to look at. And then every once in a while, they'd be like, here's some tweets we want you guys to do something with.
Just have a little look at those.
Okay. So,
man, could you imagine if somebody looked at like my tweets, for example? They'd be so bored.
Yeah.
Like this stuff is juicy. There's nothing juicy
sexy about my tweets.
None whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Today I was very happy that it was Family Day here in British Columbia. That's the extent of my tweets. That's
Yeah, there
legit.
you go.
Yeah, I'm so happy it's family day and I've got an
And
extra day off.
and I tweet some of my dumb jokes that don't make
Oh,
it on the. Then I try to seamlessly integrate them onto the podcast, and it's never that seamless
it's
or that
never that
integrated.
seamless. Yeah.
And like I said before, there's 17 Twitter files. We're not going to go through all 17.
We're not going to get to them all. There's a lot.
We might make it through the first 6 because that's all the ones I did.
How much are you reading of the 6?
All 6.
Cool.
I'm not going to read the whole Twitter files because the way they're, full disclosure, they're kind of actually really fucking hard to read because they're all laid out in Twitter threads.
In tweets. Yeah.
And you have to search down the first thread. But there's this thing you can look at. It's a website and it's called the reader app.com.
Yeah. It's actually TH reader.
Okay, wait. I'm a complete idiot and I can't read, which does not bode well for this. It's called Thread Reader app, not
Thread
the reader app. Thread Reader. I was looking at it and I thought Thread was the. So there we go. Yeah, but you go to threadreaderapp.com and you find the hypertext link or whatever for these threads and you can put it in there and it puts it all nice and clean on a website, like on a web page. And that's much easier to read than from going from tweet to tweet.
Yeah.
But I do, like, even though I'm going to give you a lot of information, I do recommend everybody go back and read these Twitter threads on the Thread Reader app because all the stuff he talks about, Matt Taibbi, he has examples of them. Whereas I'm going to tell you what he found in the Twitter files, but I'm not going to give you examples because they're mostly picture files. So if you want to find that stuff out, I'll have links in the show notes.
I was going to say, you're going to put links, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, I guess we already decided we're going to do 1 to 6 today.
Yeah.
A couple of them I'll glom together because there's like 2 or 3 different ones on Donald Trump getting kicked off of Twitter as like Twitter files. So I don't really want to get too much into that because I feel like everybody's tolerance for hearing about Trump is already way past. And now that he's running again, it's going to be even worse.
Man, I couldn't believe that. You told me that yesterday. I haven't really been paying attention. And I was like, You got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. So far, the only ones that have announced that they're running for the U.S. Republican primaries is Donald Trump and I forgot her name, some other lady. DeSantis hasn't officially announced that he's running yet, unless he did it.
One of the likely candidates for sure.
Yeah, but they're saying he might wait until like 2028 so he doesn't have to go against Trump.
Right.
Okay. So what happened with the Twitter files? Back on track. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes.
Yep.
And seeing if it has a. Okay, so Matt Taibbi wrote like a short synopsis of what happened. So the Twitter, this is according to Twitter. This is from his first Twitter file on December 2nd, 2022. So the other thing about this is it's all very recent. And it's a series based. Sorry?
No, very, very recent. Yeah. Is it the other senator, was it or the governor, Kristi Noem? Is that the one who was in the running from South
Kristi
Dakota?
Noem?
Noem, Noem.
I don't think so. I think it was a chick.
Yeah, that's a chick. That's a lady.
It might be her. I mean, sure. I'm sure people don't care.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, thanks for looking that up.
No problem.
Okay. So the Twitter files are a series based upon thousands of internal documents obtained by sources at Twitter. The Twitter files tell an incredible story from inside of one of the world's largest and most influential social media platforms. It is a Frankensteinian tale of a human-built mechanism grown out of the control of its designer. This is all very flowery.
Very flowery, floral language. First year journalism students writing copy.
You can tell that a very advanced journalist wrote this. Yeah. Matt Taibbi was also worked for the Rolling Stone a lot. You can kind of hear the Rolling Stone epithets in here. So Twitter in its conception was a brilliant tool for enabling instant mass communication, making a true real-time global conversation possible for the first time. Um, when did you get on Twitter for the first time, Jeff?
2007. I was an extremely early adopter.
Were you T9 texting to a number and then it was put on Twitter?
I was sort of, it wasn't T9 texting, but
All right.
but I
It
had
was
like
like,
regular texting and then it was put on Twitter. Yeah, I had to go SMS. It was on my BlackBerry. So I had to use
oh,
SMS to tweet to Twitter.
yeah. So for me, I was actually T9 texting from like an old Motorola like
Yeah.
flip phone,
I had a
and T
BlackBerry, so I was quite
yeah,
advanced at the
you
time.
were way more advanced. So
Yeah.
what the way Twitter worked, and this is why it was so brilliant, was you would send a text to a certain number, and then that would get put up on the internet. Because back when Twitter started, smartphones didn't exist yet. Well, I guess
Yeah. Well, they
Blackberries
did.
count as a
So,
smartphone.
so yeah, I used like the Opera operating system. Like Opera was the
Yeah.
like the one the or the sorry, not the operating system.
Hmm.
Opera was the web browser on Blackberries, and
Yeah.
Opera had it like an API to Twitter where you could use it to tweet stuff. And I remember my first tweet was like, "Hello, is anyone there?" And that was it. That was like the first tweet, and I sent that for my BlackBerry, and I was so excited. And then
Yeah.
nothing happened until my friend Alistair responded like about a month later.
Nice. I can't remember what my first tweet was, and I probably should have looked it up, but I did not. But I kind of miss T9 texting because you could do it one-handed without looking at your phone
Yeah, I was trying to explain to
while you
somebody what
weren't
T9, for those of you
driving.
that home that don't understand what T9 texting is or have never heard of it. Basically, there's letters attributed to the 9 numbers on your phone, and
Mhm.
you had to cycle through those numbers. My thumb's like doing it automatically because
Yeah.
I used to do it. So like if I wanted to type Dale, I would have to type 2 because that's for D, because it 1 is ABC,
Yeah.
2 is DEF. So if I want to type Dale, it would be 2, then 1, then whatever L is would be like, it would be 5 twice, and
Mhm.
then E would be 2 twice to get to the E. Cause so like if 1 is ABC and I wanted to type a C, I would have to hit 1 3 times to make a C.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
If you
pretty
don't know what it
wild.
is, look up a YouTube there's a good YouTube video and show somebody showing
Nice.
how to do it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, so like T9 texting, if you got good at it, you could remember what they were and do it with your thumb
Yeah.
without even thinking about
And
it.
yeah, you could like just feel with the phone, like just
Yeah.
and not even look at it. Whereas even with my smartphone, it's like got the whole key. So I'm like constantly with my
I got
big
the
old
bifocals so I
thumbs.
can see the little tiny letters so I can type them. It's
Yeah, and I
stupid.
always hit the wrong letter too. It's
Yeah. All the
super
time. All the
annoying.
time. That's ducking
Mhm.
crazy, Dale.
Right. Okay, back to Dale reading. In an early conception, Twitter more than lived up to the mission statement, giving people the power to create and share ideas and information instantly without barriers. As time progressed, however, the company was slowly forced to add those barriers. Some of the first tools of controlling speech were designed to combat the likes of spam and financial fraudsters. Slowly over time, Twitter staff and executives began to find more and more uses for these tools. Outsiders began petitioning the company to manipulate speech as well, first a little, then more often, then constantly. He goes on to explain how both parties had access to tools to remove tweets. So, one thing about the Twitter files that it is should point out is whenever you hear about it, like a lot of the conservatives like to say that it was only Democrats who were petitioning Twitter to remove stuff, but the Republicans had access to it at all. But one thing that the reason there was more Democrats getting more stuff removed was because this was kind of like uh somebody in the industry, so it would be like since tech is more left-minded people or more left politically left-minded people, there'd naturally be more Democrats in it. I don't know why I stumbled on that word so hard. There'd
On
be more
Democrats?
Democrats
Yeah,
in it,
that's a tough one.
so more Democrats would have access to people on the inside of tech, so more Democrats could easily just send emails to their friends and be like, "Hey, bud, while you're in the back of Twitter, can you just delete this or that?" And then, yeah, so Matt Taibbi puts it like this. He says, the system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts. Because Twitter was an overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation, there were more channels, more ways to complain, often to the left than the right. Okay, so good so far.
So far.
I guess I gotta say, okay, so fuck. I didn't write the date down. So I guess I got to backtrack a step on how the Twitter files actually happened. I did mention that what happened was Elon Musk went to buy Twitter, and then do you think everybody's familiar with the saga of Elon Musk buying Twitter in the first place?
Well, I think everybody knows about it. I think you might have to fill in a few of the blanks about how
Okay,
the files
so
came to
this
be. I
is
think
off the
you're right.
top
So
of my dome
yeah,
because I don't think people want to listen to me Google. But so I
no,
think it
just
was.
do it quick.
I'll just say I think that way when
Yeah,
I'm wrong, people can't
it's
like
not
sue me.
legally binding.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
So back in April of 2022, Elon Musk was just, I can't remember. Nobody knows why Elon wanted to buy Twitter in the first place. I think it was just like, I think he had mentioned on the Lex Friedman podcast or something that he sees potential in Twitter where it's an everything website where people can post videos and talk to each other and like sell stuff. So he saw the potential of Twitter being like evolving to being able to like host videos and stuff. That's like one of the first things he did when he bought it was put up some movie. I can't remember what it was, but it was like an hour and a half video on Twitter. And is
Oh
as you
yeah.
can imagine, it was the worst thing to watch because every time you left that window, you had to start over and then skim through and find your spot. So in April 2022, Elon says he's going to buy Twitter. And then he says he finds out that there's way too many bots and Twitter actually isn't as sound of an operating system as he was led to believe. So he says he was misled. So he tries to pull out and doesn't want to buy it. And then at that point, Twitter was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You said you were going to buy it. You committed. You have to buy us. And then Elon was like, well, show me how many bots are involved in this fucking swamp and then I'll buy it. And then
Right.
Twitter was like, we can't show you trade secrets or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Elon's like, well, then I don't have to buy it. And it was kind of, if it had ended at that point, it was cool because it would have been like a like
Yeah,
it
it's
would have
over.
made sense because Elon would have just blew up Twitter by showing how unreliable and how full of bots it was.
Totally.
And then Twitter, for whatever reason, sued Elon, basically sued Elon into buying it, which was annoying because for the longest time, everybody was like, I can't believe Elon's going to like hostilely take over
Yeah.
Twitter against
Yeah.
everybody's wishes. And there was like, how could Elon do this? He's such a bad man. And then Twitter sued him into basically buying it.
Well, yeah. It was pretty, yeah, it was a pretty, that was a pretty weird time in Twitterville when everyone's speculating about it, right?
Yeah. And then in October, Elon was finally, he was like, all right. And he gathered up $44 billion and then he bought Twitter.
$44 billion out of a hat.
And it's funny because, where was he say? Oh yeah, Matt Taibbi on Joe Rogan. Because Joe was like, hey, why did Elon buy this? And Matt's like, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
And it was like, Matt was like, it's funny because he essentially spent $44 billion just to become the whistleblower of his own company.
Yeah.
So I just feel like Elon's bought it because he's going to somehow make money out of this. Because when it comes to making money, Elon Musk is
sort of his jam.
A super genius. Like he keeps getting these companies that are failing. Like when he got into PayPal, it was kind of on the downslope, and then he put it back together and he made a whole bunch of money. Tesla was on the downslope. The guys who created it weren't really good at marketing or whatever. And then Twitter comes in and he got all this viral marketing and stuff. Like Tesla didn't even have a website or anything for the longest time. It was like all word of mouth.
Yeah.
So he turned all those profitable, and then like the Boring Company, and then Starlink and SpaceX. You know the drill. Elon just fucking figures out how to trick the government into printing him money.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, I guess that's probably the biggest thing is you like it was either information that he was trying to buy with $44 billion
Mhm.
or a profit to be made somehow.
Yeah. Like if it's weird too because we're at this like me and Jeff went for a 10K walk yesterday,
Yes, we did.
ladies. We're super svelte and I was only crying when I woke up this morning for like half an hour. But we were talking about because me and Jeff both have a journalistic background and we were talking about how like kind of influx the whole journalistic um what's that word I'm looking for? Like the media
The yeah, the
business
media business, just
world.
the whole thing of it, the
Yeah.
genre of journalism, if you will. Like it's taking a turn.
Yeah, it's
It's
like in
going
this
back to
weird
the older
state of
days.
flux right now,
Yeah,
whereas it's like it's stopping being classical media on the news. Like it used to be print media was like the crowning glory, and then online journalism was this weird afterthought that nobody thought would
yeah.
take precedent because they're dumb and they just didn't see the future properly. So they totally kind of didn't pay enough attention to online media and they didn't give it the like attention it needed. And they were like just focus on print. And then print complete is pretty much
Pretty
completely
much
dead
gone
at this
now.
point.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of just like a niche business where you do it as like a novelty act where
Yeah,
you
there's like a
still get
couple
print media.
remaining print outlets
Mhm.
in provinces and stuff now.
Yeah, and some places are like turning online to varying degrees of success. Like a lot of them are set up paywalls and stuff.
Yeah.
So the whole reason I'm talking about this is one of the things I think Elon might be doing is turning Twitter into sort of a publication forum
That makes a lot more
where
sense. Yeah.
like newspapers would pay to play, like the New York Times tweeting and stuff. Elon Musk might be like, "Look, you want to tweet on here?" And it would be
So
like it would kind of be like this like advertising without advertising, whereas like
yeah, it's creating a pay media where but so then the only damn thing I have with that is like what does how does media make money from that?
well, what I think would happen is
Like why would a
basically
journalist
Twitter
pay to go
being
on
yeah,
Twitter?
Twitter being free still, nobody kind of understands how great that is. That
Right.
like how Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that is still free, whereas like Netflix and Spotify and
Yeah, it all
Apple
costs
Music
money.
and everything else is like a subscription platform because but they all knew what they had. Whereas like Twitter, Facebook, and like
Yeah, it came from
Instagram,
a different
TikTok,
place.
it kind of got grandfathered in where they made the money off the advertising. So instead of you buying like a subscription to the the product, you actually were the product because you were lending your eyeballs to
Advertising, yeah.
advertisers and stuff. And I think a good example of this is like YouTube, like right now, how YouTube has YouTube free and YouTube premium.
Yeah.
And it's like YouTube free is kind of getting to the point where it's pretty much just unfucking attainable. Like you can't even handle it anymore. Like
It's yeah, there's so many ads, it's
I'm
ridiculous.
almost actually, you know what? I should probably have YouTube premium since I put stuff on there.
Yeah,
I
right. I was
wonder
just
if
thinking that. Yeah.
I wonder if that would get me more views or us more views for this show and Outrage Factory. Like if
Oh,
I
it's all about you.
had a premium, it's always about me.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like if you're paying for a YouTube like a YouTube premium subscription, do you get do more people
Yeah,
look at
exactly.
the
Or does
Outrage
the
Factory Reddit podcast?
algorithm kind of like be
Yeah, like
like,
go,
oh,
hey, these people are paying.
ooh,
You should look at these people. Yeah,
like lift you up?
yeah,
Yeah, because I had free Spotify for like a month and then I couldn't handle it anymore
yeah.
with
So that
like
was the
the
same with
ads.
us. Yeah, we bought
So
the family Spotify because it was so and like you can't control and it's still kind of shitty, but it's
yeah,
yeah.
I have the dual account Spotify where
Oh
it's
yeah.
like I I have mine and then I have Andrea's, but I just gave her her own because she listens to country, and I
Ugh.
don't want that in my
In your feed.
in my suggested algorithm
Yeah.
mix that you get every week because I fucking love that thing and I find so many music
Totally.
so many music through it.
Yeah.
So
So many
much
music, many music,
so many bands is what I
much
meant to
music, some
say.
might say. Pat
Yeah.
Penning.
Okay. So
All right.
kind of lost track. Oh yeah. So we were just on a huge tangent about that. So yeah, that would be to bring it back in and pull on the rope. I feel like Elon Musk is going to somehow get it to like cajole us into giving into like a subscription based Twitter.
Yeah, that seems
And
right.
then which would
Well, he's
would
kind of starting that. Oh, hey, I had a question for you. Sorry
yeah.
to derail it one more time. Some of the media outlets, I've been noticing this on Twitter, they have a yellow check mark beside them now.
Oh really?
Have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't. Let me just
One of them,
pull
I
up
think, was like
Twitter.
Vanity Fair and Rolling Stone. I think they're like magazines that are tweeting. They have a
Oh
yellow check mark next
no.
to their name. So instead of the blue check mark, they have a yellow check mark next to their name. Sorry,
See,
this is a total
no,
derailment,
that's a
but I
good
think this,
point because that could be where it's going. Because the blue check mark used to be a verified check mark,
yes, yeah,
and that would just be like you would get it because
journalists
you are
and
the famous
entertainers.
person
Yeah, exactly.
instead of just some knockoff.
Yeah,
But the gold check mark could be like companies instead of
yeah,
people.
exactly. Which I think
So
is what
like
it's sort of going to.
yeah, okay, I'm just okay. I'll look later, but now
Yeah,
right
look
I've
later.
only seen blue. Are
Okay.
you on iOS?
Yeah, no, desktop.
Okay. Because I was thinking maybe it's an Apple thing, but I don't know. Because Apple, everything goes through the. So anyway, oh yeah. What I was gonna say was maybe if you get like what I could see happening is Elon Musk. I don't know why he would do this, but this would make sense if a place did it, where you turn Twitter
Oh
into a
yeah,
publication feed where you once you get like the you pay the subscription fee, you get access to different articles by like Wall Street Journal or New York Times and stuff. The stuff that's behind a paywall now, maybe if it's like it turns into Spotify, but for like news and publications where you can, because like right now, if you click on a link in Twitter to go to an article, it's like, hey, you've used all your free ones up, but maybe through this weird subscription thing you get to go read everything you want for free, and that would be worth it. I'd pay $8 a month for that.
okay, interesting. So I was just checking it
Mhm.
out. Gold check marks on Twitter are verified businesses.
Ooh.
There's blue check marks for verified account that say this is a legacy verified account. It may or may not be notable. And then there's
Mm.
other blue ones. So one of my friends is a purchaser of the check mark.
Oh
I
yeah,
won't,
the
I won't,
$8 a month
won't
ones.
mention any names. He's
Mm-hmm.
purchased his check mark and it says this account is verified because it's subscribed to Twitter Blue. So there's legacy check marks for some journalists, but
Yeah.
businesses have like verified businesses have gold check marks now. So like the
No.
Vancouver Canucks have a gold check mark, for example.
Oh, let me just check.
Our
So
local sports hockey team.
one thing I would like to
Sports
know:
hockey, that's a
did
thing.
this just happen?
It's been about a month or so, I think.
Okay,
I just
sorry
started
guys. It
noticing
just.
them on people's retweets. I thought it
Oh
was kind of
yeah,
weird.
I see the
You
gold.
see it?
I see the gold on the Vancouver Canucks, whereas Finn, the Vancouver Canucks mascot,
It's
and Jeff
blue.
is blue and Jeff Patterson is blue. I
Yeah.
wonder if there's a different if you could tell the difference through legacy check marks as opposed to subscription check
No,
marks.
but they're both blue. You have to actually click on the check mark to see if it's that's what I was saying. Like this, there I clicked on a blue
Oh,
one and it says
you're
this is a
right.
legacy verified account. It may or may not be notable. But if you look at the other ones and you can click on them and it says this account is verified because it is subscribed to Twitter Blue.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I just did that
So
and it's awesome because people just fucking have to deal with me clicking on stuff on the podcast.
next on clicking on stuff,
Yeah,
the
sorry
clicking
guys.
on stuff show.
I'm trying to find one that's not a legacy verified one. I want to see
Yeah.
one that's. Oh yeah, no, I see what I just found one that's verified because it's a
Twitter
subscribe
Blue.
to Twitter Blue and
Yeah.
they do look the same. That's kind of annoying.
It's
I
a
would
little annoying.
like
Yeah, because then you have to sort of do your own verification check on
mhm.
certain people.
It would be nice if the grandfathered in ones were different.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel
Anyways,
like you can't say grandfathered in anymore.
Jeff don't. People know what I mean.
Yeah.
If I say Grand Peopledin
Yeah,
or
it's there's a racial history of the grandfather clause on NPR. Anyway, that's a different
oh
podcast.
no, see that's kind of misleading. I heard somebody talk about this on a podcast before because when I say grandfathered in, I'm not talking about the racist clauses that were grandfathered in. So it
No, but that's
shouldn't,
the yeah.
like, the term grandfathered in is, how is that racist?
So that's I'm just reading about it right now.
Okay. Because I
It
feel
does have it.
like
So it does have it. It does. So it
mhm,
says the term grandfathered in has become part of the language. It's an easy way to describe individuals or companies who get to keep operating under an existing set of expectations when new rules are put in place. But it
mhm.
has its history in racism in the early days of the United States.
Like, was the term grandfathered in
Yes. So it's the
may
yeah,
created?
it was for black people to be able to vote. So I'm
Uh,
reading it right now. So it's prohibited racial discrimination. Oh, sorry. The 15th Amendment prohibited racial discrimination in voting and was ratified in 1870. If you know your history, you realize that African Americans were nevertheless kept from voting in large numbers in the southern states for nearly a century more. Um, they had various requirements like literacy tests, poll taxes, and constitutional quizzes that were designed to keep blacks from registering to vote. And many poor Southern whites were at risk of also losing their rights because they could not have had met the same expectations. So the solution, a half a dozen states passed laws that made men eligible to vote if they had been able to vote before African Americans were given the ability to vote, generally around 1867, or if they were lineal descendants of voters back then, and that was
mhm.
called the grandfather clause. So it does have its roots and its origins
Oh,
in racism. So you probably have to find another term for
god
grandfather
damn it. Now I have
clause.
to take, what's
Yeah,
a,
I remembered reading that before. So I'm looking right now for an
can I
alternative.
say the legacy
Yes,
clause?
you can say a legacy clause,
Well, then I can't really say legacy blue check marks are
or
legacy
yeah,
claused in
or
because
you can say they're pre-approved or exempted or excused or legacied or
mhm,
pre-authorized.
carried over from the, okay,
Yeah,
anyways. I'm
sorry.
sorry in advance.
There's a so you know so language evolves over time,
Yeah.
and we're learning how to change language here on the Dale Show, and this is one of the things that we can change.
No, I get it. I didn't know that the term grandfathered in was had racial connotations. I just assumed that racial bullshit laws were grandfathered. Anyways, I'm
Incorrect. So now
going
you know
to
we've learned something today.
I'm going to stop using it because there's no point in me dying on this hill for no reason. I'm just
Yeah,
going to preemptively apologize because I might forget and say it again at some point.
yeah,
Maybe
and
not
that's okay.
this
It's called learning.
episode,
You got that's called learning.
maybe in the future.
Sorry,
But
I
I'm glad you
didn't mean
went
to
through
put
all
that
that.
on you. I just
No,
remembered hearing that because you said it for a second time. I was like, I think we're not supposed to say
no, I'm glad you went through that because I don't want to be the grandpa at the table who, like, I don't want to be the old racist
that. You don't
grandpa
want to be
that
the racist
everybody,
family member
yeah, that everybody
in
just
20
doesn't
years from
say
now.
anything because he's old and set in his
Yeah.
way. And I don't want to be like the boomer guy who's like, I should be able to say this. That's not what I mean by it.
The way I grew up, we owned
Yeah.
people.
Oh,
Jesus
jeez.
Christ, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
totally. So there we
Okay.
go.
So those are my guesses of why Elon Musk bought
Those are
Twitter.
solid. Those are solid guesses.
Okay.
Mine would be mine are the same two that I said earlier. There's
Mhm.
either an ability for him to somehow make money off of this, which you covered, or the
Yeah.
other option was that he was literally purchasing information to bring down someone else.
Oh, the other possibility that I was thinking about before was one of the reasons Elon wanted to show all the corruption and stuff, or maybe how entangled the government was in Twitter, was he basically wanted to show that, because one of the arguments with Twitter before Elon bought it was a private company, so they can do
Yeah.
what they want. So I felt like I don't know if I still believe this. I'm leaning between this and that other theory I pulled out before, but had this feeling where Elon Musk was basically going to prove that Twitter would have to become like a public utility because
Yeah. I remember you
it's,
said this before. Yeah.
yeah, it's saturated throughout our zeitgeist. It's in every part of our culture, but it can't operate as a private company anymore because, and he's showing why, because with these Twitter files, you see how corrupt it was and
Yeah.
how some people were getting banned from Twitter and some people weren't. So he's maybe trying to pivot to it becoming a public utility. And then when something's a public utility, it's kind of paid for by the government.
Right.
So this would be like kind of how he makes all his money from
Elon
Tesla.
collecting cash from the government. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Because Elon always gets cash from the government. Like with Tesla, he sells his carbon car credit things, whatever they're actually called. He sells Tesla, or he allows like Honda to sell Teslas, and they get a carbon tax credit from the government for selling electric cars, and then they pass that on to Elon.
He gets a kickback or a cut of it at some point. Yeah.
So that's my other theory.
It's a good theory.
I don't even know if we're going to get through 6. We've already been going for 45 minutes.
Too much talk. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Hey, that's fine. If we do the Twitter files part 1 and to 17, I honestly thought, because I had only read 6 of the Twitter files and like took notes, I honestly thought we were going to just skim through them and I would have not enough material. And like every other episode when I thought 45 that, minutes in, proven wrong.
So the thing is, I mean, like there might even, we have to be careful because there might even be like new information that comes out as we're doing this too, right? I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but we might uncover some things. If you keep listening to Rogan, we're gonna find some.
I follow Matt Taibbi now, so
I know you do. Yeah. So it's
total side note. I know everybody's fucking just feels like we're edging them because we're not getting to even the first one. But we'll get through at least the first Twitter file, guys. But
I'm going to go 2. I think we're going to get through 2.
Okay. So one of the weird things about Matt Taibbi is he sounds like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
You remember Bill texted me to say that.
Yeah.
And so I went and listened to a clip and I was like, oh, fuck me. He totally does.
Oh yeah, and this was the day before Valentine's Day.
It was the day before Valentine's Day.
I was like, that gives me the best idea because
and so he sent me a playlist
of 30 different versions of Goodbye Horses, the song in Silence of the Lambs when Buffalo Bill's doing the dick tuck. And it's great. You know what? I'll put the link for that too in the show notes. You could go listen to it.
It's a great playlist. There's like, I can't believe there's 30 different versions of it. That's wild.
There's more than that. Those are just the ones that were tolerable.
Dale's curated 30.
Yeah, some of them. And the funny thing was, I didn't even mean to make it 30. I was just like, I'm going to do as many as I could.
Yeah.
And then I did a search in Spotify, and those were the best ones.
Yeah.
And then just ended on 30. Okay. All right. Let's get right to
be your friend.
Yeah. You're welcome. I don't know how to answer that. I'm glad I get to be your friend, Jeff. How's that?
That's great.
Nice. Saved it. Okay, so Twitter file number 1. How and why Twitter blocked the Hunter Biden laptop. Story by Matt. And this came out December 2nd, 2022. So this was actually that first part, the introduction I read, that was part of this Twitter file. But then, so this one is, I'm going to be reading, but I'm going to read it's going to be more point form because it's it's the important notes I took out of the Twitter file. The actual Twitter file is along
the thread reader app.
No, I copied and pasted.
You made your notes.
Yeah, I copy and pasted my notes into a Google Doc, and I kind of took chunks of the Twitter threads and put it in. So one thing, Jeff, you're going to have to do is tell me if it doesn't make sense. If I jump too far,
I'll listen and I'll make sure and I'll get clarifications on anything that needs it.
Okay. On October 14th, 2020, the New York Post published Biden's secret emails, all caps, an expose based on the contents of Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop. Twitter took extraordinary steps to suppress the story, removing links and posting warnings that it may be unsafe. They even blocked its transmission via direct message, a tool hitherto. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome. Here for you.
I've never seen this word.
You never seen hitherto? No. Oh, okay.
I've only read it. Yeah. Or I've only heard it. This is an illiterate trap. where they put words that you never read into stories and then you just stumble on them and they're like, obviously Dale doesn't read fucking books and
Oh,
he
so you
outed
didn't, yeah.
himself.
So you didn't read, so you didn't take English in university like I did.
I did, but Jeff, that
Ah,
was 20 years ago.
that was a long time ago.
I have a writing degree in journalism,
Oh, that's right.
but I probably maybe I should start. One thing about this fucking Twitter files is it made me want to write again.
For it. Yeah, it totally does.
Yeah. Okay. So they even blocked its transmission via direct message, a tool
Hitherto.
hitherto for extreme cases, e.g., child pornography. And this is wild because I tried this out when it came out because
Child pornography?
Yes, Jeff. No.
You really
Trying to do
you
it.
gotta watch how you say your
guard.
sentences, man.
Caught me off guard. No, the direct messaging of a link to the New York Post published Hunter Biden secret email.
Yeah.
Because one of the reasons, I think they get to it in the Twitter file, one of the reasons that they wanted to put this on, like kibosh this, was because if this got out, this was like a month before the election.
Yeah.
So they didn't want Trump to win, or yeah, this was the month before the 2020 election. And they're like, if this Hunter Biden laptop story gets out, Trump's going to win.
Yeah.
So we got to kibosh this. And it's like, on one hand, you're like, I can't believe they censored anything. But on the other hand, society was fucking sick of having Trump as president. Nobody wanted another 4 years of that. So that's kind of the reason they did all this.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. So White House spokeswoman Kylie McEnany. Hope that's right. Sorry, Kylie McEnany.
That one I can't help you on.
Yeah, was locked out of her account for tweeting about the story, prompting a furious letter from Trump campaign staffer Mike Hahn. And then if you go to the Twitter files, you can actually see the Twitter letter, or the letter that he had sent. This led public policy executive Caroline Strom to send out a polite "what the fuck" query. A note returned the answer that the laptop story had been removed for violation of the company's hacked materials policy. The decision was made at the highest levels of the company, but without the knowledge of CEO Jack Dorsey, with former head of legal, policy, and trust Vijaya Gadde playing a key role. And it's funny because you actually, Vijaya Gadde was on Joe Rogan too. And this, like a couple of years ago before all this happened, and she was like talking about, she was basically talking about out of both sides of her mouth, because she's like, yeah, Twitter doesn't really have shadow banning and all this stuff. And
yeah.
And meanwhile, behind the scenes, she's just fucking getting the Hunter Biden story laptop taken down.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it says that Jack Dorsey, the old CEO of Twitter, had no idea about this, but I don't know if he had distanced himself because he wanted plausible deniability from the whole thing, or if he actually didn't know. Like, maybe we'll never know that.
We might never know. I don't think we're ever going to know that.
And then so it was mostly Vijaya Gadde and former trust and safety chief Yoel Roth. Yoel Roth is littered through all of these Twitter files. He seems to be like the go-to guy that the government would like touch base with. Oh, and when I said that WTF query before,
yeah,
Caroline Strom had sent out, I think it was on Slack or Teams, this stuff I'm not familiar with because I have a non-pajama job where I don't work on a computer. So I don't necessarily, I'm thinking it's like Teams is like a chat program. You could just chat with people in your office, right?
Yeah. Teams is connected to your Microsoft account, or if you have like a Microsoft based account at your work, like we use Microsoft Teams at our work. And yeah, there's chats and you can create like channels and stuff to share within. And then Slack is effectively the same thing, but you can share more things in Slack. I don't know, some people that don't use Microsoft as their email or like CRM based, they use Slack as their communication channel. It's basically a chat.
Okay.
It's enriched chat.
So yeah, a lot of the Twitter files was Teams chats and messages and stuff. So
totally. And like basically you can't really delete the threads, and your employer can like log them and keep them if they want or whatever.
I mean, that's smart, for instances like this, but it's really bad for people who think they're not getting.
Yeah,
Well, we've said
it's
it
very
before and
casual.
we've said it again. If you're using a work computer for anything, just assume everything's being recorded and your boss has the ability to read it.
Yeah.
If you want to say anything that you don't want your boss to do, don't use your work laptop, don't use your work phone, don't use your work email or Slack or Teams or anything. Go to Facebook Messenger and say all the shit that would put you in jail because no one's ever going to read that. I don't
Yeah.
know why everybody's not in jail because everybody has a fucking group of friends on Facebook Messenger and you all say the vile shit to each other to try and make each other laugh. Unless you're not me and I'm actually a bad person. But it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I've got there, like we have one. There's one that I'm on in my Facebook Messenger that I check like twice a week, and it's just full of hot garbage at all times.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't have anything to contribute to this.
Yeah, it's one of those groups where you're like, if I leave this, or should I leave this so the police don't think I'm enjoying all this stuff? Because I have like a couple different friend groups in Facebook Messenger, and they're varying degrees of vileness.
Oh, I'm in one with you. I'm in the hockey chat that I check
Yeah,
once a week, and I look at it and I'm like, oh, cool. It's just Heats posting stuff.
yeah. Or me and Derek arguing about
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't
That
even know who
one's
these hockey players
yeah,
are.
that one's not that bad, but
It's not that bad
yeah,
comparatively. Yeah.
I'm in one with like welder friends, and
Uh-oh.
that, as you
That
can imagine,
that one's prison time in there.
it's very insensitive to people's feelings
Yeah. Yeah.
on purpose. Okay. Back to Dale reading. I'm gonna lose my voice after this.
You are. You're reading hard.
Okay. Within a day, head of public policy Lauren Culbertson receives a ghastly letter report from Carl Zasbo of the research firm NetChoice, which had already pulled 12 members of Congress, 9 Republicans and 3 Democrats from the House Judiciary Committee to Representative Judy Chu's office. NetChoice said, our NetChoice lets Twitter know a bloodbath awaits in upcoming Hill hearings, with members saying it's a tipping point, complaining tech has grown so big that they cannot even regulate themselves. So government may need to intervene. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun.
So as you could see, shit was hitting the fan behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
we didn't really. I remember do you remember when the whole Hunter Biden laptop story thing happened?
Vaguely, it was something about Russia and meth or something. I don't know. I don't even
Well,
like.
it
I
was
remember when it all happened, but it seemed like so long ago now.
was supposedly what happened was he had dropped his laptop at a repair place in
Oh,
think
that's right. Yeah,
Delaware. I
Delaware.
want to
Yeah,
say
it was Delaware.
and then he never went back to get it. So somebody took the laptop and gave it to like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah.
And so the thing where Twitter said they don't want to allow the laptop stories because of hacked materials policy is kind of like good, like a legitimate excuse, because the only way they got whatever was on the laptop was by hacking it, like getting it. I mean, they probably didn't have to hack it that hard, but just going into someone else's phone or laptop without them wanting you to is considered hacking.
Yeah.
And they found some wild shit on this on this laptop. There's like emails from Hunter to other people. There's like videos of him smoking crack with prostitutes.
It's crack. Yeah. Okay.
There's like videos of him having sex with prostitutes. And there's all this wild shit that he just left on the laptop. And then I don't know.
That's
but
what I leave on my laptop.
Yeah.
For others to see.
And another note, guys. If you take videos of yourself smoking crack and having sex with prostitutes, don't leave them on your work laptop.
Yeah, smart. It's very smart. Here's
so,
Dale coming in with the sage advice and wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing somebody was saying was they don't know, like you can't prove for sure that these videos of Hunter Biden smoking crack came off of the laptop, but there are still
videos in circulation of him smoking.
Yeah, crack, and it is Hunter Biden, and he is doing all that stuff. So
yeah. So maybe a better thing is like if you're gonna smoke crack, make sure everybody has their phones away.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's
Yeah. So this one's kind of like that's the end of the Twitter file one.
yeah,
He's basically just goes through examples of like this is a I guess this is a good one because it's kind of like when some people inside Twitter found out that people were like blocking the story and being like, what the fuck is going on? And then some people on Twitter being like, this is what we do now.
yeah.
This is for the greater good. We're the judges of moral character and stuff.
Oh, good. That's good. That's great.
Yeah. And
We're
then
the
actually Matt Taibbi did so you know how I said there were 17 Twitter files?
yep.
There's actually a couple more because there are some Twitter file supplementals
Right.
like this one that became 4 days after this on December 6th, but it's not part of Twitter file number 2.
Okay.
So this is Twitter file supplemental by Matt, December 6th. And it's like, we expected to publish more over the weekend. Many wondered why there was a delay. On Tuesday, on Tuesday, Twitter Deputy General Counsel and former FBI General Counsel Jim Baker was fired. Among the reasons, vetting the first batch of Twitter files without knowledge of new management. So this
Uh,
is wild
that's
because
that's crazy. Yeah.
after Elon Musk sent messages to Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss and was like, hey, I got all these fucking emails from the old people who own Twitter. Do you want to go through them and see if there's anything newsworthy on them? And Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss are like, fuck yeah, give it to us. Give us
Yeah.
the sugar
We would
daddy.
like to see this, please.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
But one of the wild things that happened was as instead of them just getting sent to Matt Taibbi and his team, because he had a bunch of researchers, and as I go through the Twitter files, you'll see there's like, here, I'll just tell you right now, there
Sure.
are there's 6 different authors of Twitter files. So Matt
Right.
Taibbi is the most prolific one.
Yeah.
Barry Weiss wrote a couple, but when it was set up, it was going to be all Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss, and they were going to switch back and forth. I don't know what happened with Barry Weiss, but she only ended up doing 2. I'm sure there's a story and a reason
Yeah.
there. Maybe she got told to F off.
Stop fucking doing it. Yeah.
And then there's also Michael Schellenberger, David Zweig, Lee Fang, and Alex Berenson.
Right.
But for the most part, I'd say of the 17, Matt Taibbi wrote probably at least
most
9.
of it. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So, anyways, instead of the stuff getting sent to Matt's or Barry's team or the researchers, it was going to that general. Here, I gotta get back to my spot. It was going back to General Jim Baker
Right.
without Elon Musk knowing it. Nobody knew it. And he was going through me like, you can't have this, you can't have this. And he was kind of parsing what he was going to allow those guys, Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss, to look at. And
That's
it's
so
kind
much
of
control.
and it's fucked up because he was the Twitter deputy general counsel. Like he was the lawyer, like the main lawyer for Twitter,
Yeah.
but he was also an ex FBI lawyer.
Oh, was he?
So you
Okay.
could see why his
Why he
view
would- yeah.
would have been slanted on what he allowed to let through. And that might even be actually why in the first Twitter file, there's no mention of the FBI or
Right.
the DHS.
It was just conveniently eliminated from it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it all looked like it was all internal Twitter memos saying killing the Hunter Biden labs top
Right.
story instead of it coming from the FBI. So yeah, among the reasons of him getting fired from general counsel was he was vetting the first batch of the Twitter files without the knowledge of the new management. The process for producing the Twitter files involved delivery to 2 journalists, Barry Weiss and Matt Taibbi, via a lawyer close to new management. However, after the initial batch, things became complicated. Over the weekend, while we both dealt with obstacles to new searches, this is Matt Taibbi talking, and when he says both of us, he means him and Barry. It was Barry Weiss who discovered that the person in charge of releasing the files was someone named Jim. When she called to ask Jim's last name, the answer came back, Jim Baker. Baker's a controversial figure. He has been something of a Z-League of I don't know what that word means.
I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah, look up what just Google something of a Z-League or Z-League definition. So Baker is a controversial figure. He has been something of a Z-League of FBI controversies dating back to 2016, from the Steele dossier to the Alpha server mess. Ooh, so if you don't know what the Steele dossier is, that was the thing that kicked off Russiagate, where
Okay.
it was where they um alleged that Trump won the election via Russian help. And then they looked into it and they wasted 3 years of everybody's time because nothing ever happened. But still, people think Trump got in from help from Russia.
So okay, so I think it's a reference to Leo Zelig, who is a writer, an activist, and a researcher who writes extensively on African politics and history, including books on working class struggle and the development of revolutionary movements, and biographies on some of Africa's most important political thinkers and activists. So that's the only thing that I could come up with that it might refer to, because the only other thing is Zelig is a suffix for in German for 4 lines.
Okay, you know what?
That was not helpful at all.
So Racket News, that thing I said that had the capsule,
Yep.
it has a glossary of Twitter files terms.
Okay.
I'm just gonna see if that's in the glossary because this still makes no fucking sense to me. Damn it, it doesn't. So you know what? I'm gonna duck go it, see if it comes up with something else.
Well, in the late
Real
60s, there was a journalist called Ken Zelig who
yeah.
Oh, this is a weird one. Snagged 3 interviews with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. So that's what he's famous for. So maybe it's that he got interviews with people who are notoriously hard to get interviews with.
Oh, I think I got another reference.
Okay.
So Z League is a 1983 American mockumentary film written direct.
Man, we're all over the map with this one. We clearly
Okay.
don't know what we're talking
So
about.
this is so Z League is apparently was a mockumentary written, directed, and starring Woody Allen as Leonard Zelig, a nondescript enigma who apparently, out of his desire to fit in and be liked, unwittingly takes on the characteristics of strong personalities around him. So that sounds like it could be. Yeah, so
maybe
he's
that's
saying
more that would be a very American reference.
yeah, so it's saying like maybe this Baker guy was taking on the strong personalities around him.
Yeah.
Of FBI controversy. So maybe he was like kind of
Controversy.
turning himself to his personality to be more like the FBI conspiracies that he had been exposed to since 2016. Okay, that makes kind of sense.
Yeah.
Thanks for being very clear, Matt Baker or Matt Taibbi.
You're welcome, Dale.
This is why I don't read.
You're welcome, Dale. Next time I'll be more clear for you. I'd write it better.
So Matt Baker resigned in 2018 from the FBI after an investigation into leaks to the press. The news that Baker was reviewing the Twitter files surprised everyone involved, to say the least. New Twitter chief Elon Musk acted quickly to exit Baker Tuesday. So yeah. Do we have any thoughts before we move on to Twitter file number 2?
I definitely don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm low on thoughts. It's okay, all yeah. Like, yeah. Okay.
Let's do Twitter file.
Let's do number 2. We've got 20 minutes to do this.
Yeah. Oh my God, we made it through 2:17.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we know what we're doing on the Dale Show for the next little while.
Yeah. So
and the best part is we don't have any competition because I couldn't find out anybody who wrote about the Twitter files in a different place.
I know, like you think there'd be like a YouTube video or something about it, but there's like fucking nothing. So
actually, I think it's so funny. I think Matt Taibbi has talked about it on a podcast on racket.com because that's his website or whatever. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying like you keep did you ever watch Storage Wars? This is a total aside.
Yeah, I did.
So there was a guy on that show called Barry Weiss. He was the older guy with the gray hair and the skeleton gloves. His name was Barry Weiss. So every time you say Barry Weiss, and I know Barry Weiss is the journalist, and she's funny. Clearly not her, but you keep saying Barry Weiss, and I keep immediately thinking of the dude from Storage Wars because I spent too much time watching Storage Wars.
Dude, the funniest thing. Okay, back before I was a welder, I worked in the Calgary Sun newsroom, and there was this guy named Ian, and I hadn't really watched Storage Wars, and he would always, and there's one guy in Storage Wars who would always be like, "Yep."
Yeah.
So
Dave Hester.
every time someone in the newsroom said "yep" in casual conversation, we would all
Somebody
just
else
be
would
like,
yell it.
"Yep," and then someone from across the room would be like,
They'd
"Yep."
one
And
up
they'd
the
all,
bid
yeah,
for the
they'd all
storage
put up their
locker.
hand and just yell "yep," and it would like
Oh my god.
whoever wasn't in on the joke was so mad, and
Yeah,
that just makes it so much
yeps all the
funnier.
way. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Oh god, that's pretty
because
funny actually.
the funny thing is, it's just like the newsroom is just it's this like it's like this weird ambiance because it's like
Oh
there's
yeah, I
people
worked in a
doing
newsroom. I know. Yeah.
serious fucking news stories, like talking to police and stuff
Yeah.
in the same big room as everybody else because you have to be able to talk
Yeah.
to each other and I don't know in case some
You bounce
emergency
stories off and
happens.
stuff, and like, yeah, you trade shit, right? Like, yeah.
So like people are talking to police or whatever, and there's just some asshole like me yelling "yep" in the
Yep, in the
background
background. Yeah,
because I
totally.
was a
Oh yeah,
graphic
no.
designer making graphics for the news stories and stuff. So I
I've
was
definitely
just like,
worked in a newsroom. It's like a locker room, but it's like a serious locker room. I don't even know how to
yeah,
explain it. It's totally
it's
fucked.
weird because it's this like weird mix of like blue collar and white collar because
Totally.
everybody's like educated and right and in like the arts and stuff, but they all act like they're like tradesmen because it is kind of a trade. So they all
So,
have that like
well, yeah, like, did you ever have the
temperament.
pressman come up from downstairs?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fucked. Like
just all covered
these
in
dudes in
ink.
coveralls covered in ink, like head to toe. And they're just like, that dude's name is Larry, and he's been there since 1946. And he's
Yeah,
just like fucked up and like all grizzled. And he's like, the plates aren't working properly today. And like, oh
yeah,
my God. And he's in like the same office that I go into to talk to the city editor. Right. Like
yeah.
it's messed up. Yeah.
And the wild thing about print media dying was there was guys like Larry who like worked in the basement and
Yeah.
like
It's a union
bought a
job.
house and raised a family off
Totally.
of the newspaper, and now
Yeah.
they're just like just
Gone.
gone.
Just gone. Yeah. Those guys don't exist anymore. It's
It's
wild.
depressing to think
Yeah.
about. But
Anyway, sorry. Back on
yeah.
track. Barry Weiss. Yup.
Okay. Twitter secret blacklist. Twitter file number 2.
This is a fun one because I obviously got blacklisted on Twitter because
Did you?
no, fuck, I'm just
Oh.
kidding. I'm not even close to that important.
I like to say I've been shadow banned and not that
I
just
only
like
have 200 people that follow me,
yeah.
so who cares?
And I like to say I'm shadow banned because I don't want Twitter to be like my real life where people just don't like my jokes and don't
Yeah,
find them entertaining.
totally.
Because if I wasn't shadow banned, people would just be patting me on the back, telling me how hilarious I am and that how handsome I am, and I should
Well,
be rich and famous, and they can't understand
I
why.
tell
And
you
then
that
they
all the time,
send me
buddy.
money. That's
Yeah.
true.
Well, I don't send you money. That's the thing I don't do. I
You're
gotta up my game, apparently.
you're one of the good ones, Jeff.
Again, start. Keep going.
Okay.
Tell me more.
Twitter file number 2, secret blacklists. Teams of Twitter employees build blacklists, prevent disfavored tweets from trending, and actively limit the visibility of entire accounts or even trending topics, all in secret, without informing users. The fun thing about this is now I'm reading Barry's writing, so you might feel a narrative shift in
There
her
will be a
narrative
narrative
voice.
shift. Yeah.
So you can already tell that was like one paragraph of a sentence with like so many commas and stuff. So she likes to have longer sentences than Matt
Yeah.
Taibbi.
She doesn't write like she worked for Rolling Stone at some point.
Oh my god. Dude, this whole paragraph is one sentence.
Give it.
And
Let's
that
see Dale reading collegiate level paragraphs and
I
go.
thought that was the end, but that was only
It's
a half.
just the beginning.
I accidentally put a break in there. Okay. So they were doing this all in secret without informing users. For example, Stanford's Dr. Che Bhattacharya.
Oh, here we go.
Bhattacharya, who argued that COVID lockdowns would harm children. Twitter secretly placed him on a Twitter blacklist, which prevented his tweets from trending. And this is this is my favorite part about the whole Twitter files and stuff is because it's like a peek behind the curtain. Because like I was joking about being like shadow banned and stuff, but there's all this like trends back blacklist and stuff where it's like you're not shadow banned, but the algorithm won't put you in the trending on Twitter column and stuff.
Yeah, it's not going to boost and it won't boost you
Yeah.
to people who may be interested in you.
And it's funny about how many different ways. And it's like now that Elon's taken over, we were talking about the sponsored Twitter Blue before. That actually gets the algorithm to more favorably bump you into the trending and stuff. So it's like, so it's almost kind of like he's insidious as they were, but he's doing it in a positive way if you pay for it.
Yeah.
So he's not using these tools to hold people down. He's using them to raise people up if they pay for it. So it's kind of like simony. That's not. I just like that. I know that term. Simony is when you give the church money and they give you favorable entrance to heaven, in case you didn't know. Twitter denied that it does such things. In 2018, Twitter's Vijaya Gad, then head of legal policy and trust, and Kayvon Bakepour, head of product, said, "We do not shadow ban." They added, "And we certainly don't shadow ban based on political viewpoints or ideology." Both proved to be wrong. What many people call shadow banning, Twitter executives' employees call visibility filtering, or VF.
Yeah. I love that. That's such a marketing term, right? You're like, oh, no. You're not being shadow banned. It's called visibility filtering.
Visibility
Positive.
filtering.
You got to spin a negative into a positive. Why call it shadow banning when you can call it visibility filtering?
Multiple high-level sources confirmed its meaning. That would be in the Twitter file where she puts the proof, but I'm not going to say that. VF refers to Twitter's control over user visibility. It used VF to block searches of individual users, to limit the scope of particular tweets' discoverability, to block select users' posts from ever appearing on the trending page, and from inclusion into hashtag searches.
Hashtag bullshit.
Like one of the reasons how I said I was visibility filtered before was people not including the hashtag super handsome. Dale wouldn't be included in that because they visibility filtered my account so that that hashtag wouldn't be attached to it. Otherwise, everybody would be saying it. It's the only
everyone
answer.
Would be saying it. That's the only answer. Yeah. Hashtag send Dale money got visibility filtered.
Hashtag shadow ban.
Oh my God. That's it. I'm using visibility filtering for everything. Hey, how come you weren't in your office today? I was visibility filtered.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like tweet hashtag visibility filtered, and
nice.
Nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about.
That's hilarious.
It'll be like an Easter egg for when somebody listens to this. The group that decided whether to limit the reach of certain users was the Strategic Response Team, Global Escalation Team, or SRT GET. It often handled up to 200 cases a day. Wow.
That's quite a bit.
But there existed a level beyond official ticketing, beyond the rank and file moderators following the company's policy on paper. That is the Site Integrity Policy Escalation Support, the SIPPIS. That's not what they call it, but that's what I'm going to call it. It's SIP-PES. So SIPPIS.
Is that when you sit to pee?
Yeah. SIPPIS. That's when you drink piss.
It's such a stupid acronym.
I know. The CERT GET was better than the
CERT GET's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
CERT GET.
This secret glute.
The secret glute?
I was doing so good. I
threw you off.
I had emphasis for dramaticism.
We've got 12 minutes left. Keep it rolling.
Oh, Jesus. I got to go get groceries. Okay. The secret
I gotta take an edible and go to bed.
I just said the secret gloop again.
The secret gloop.
I'm going to just name a band.
I'm sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead. I'll be quiet.
My secret gloop has been visibility filtered. This secret group included head of legal, policy, and trust, Vijaya Gad, the global head of trust and safety, Yoel Roth, subsequent CEOs Jack Dorsey and Parag Agrawal, and other libs of and others. Oh my God. Sorry, there's a bug on my screen. There's a stink bug.
Is the really weird.
Yeah. We have a lot of stink bugs.
Parag Agrawal is the new CEO of Twitter, or the current CEO of Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I think. Pretty sure.
Yeah. So one of these people that got fucking ban hammered the most was libs of TikTok. Have you ever have you ever seen them?
Yeah, he's current. Oh no, he's not the CEO of Twitter anymore. He was Elon Musk is
Yeah,
he was the CEO from 21 to 22, November to October for after Jack Dorsey, and then I guess Yeah. Sorry. What
Yeah.
were you saying about that?
So SitPiss, one of the people they went after was the Libs of TikTok account.
Oh yeah, right.
And if you haven't followed Libs of TikTok, it's a great follow. They basically just take all the super annoying stuff Libs post and repost it.
Do you follow them on TikTok or on Twitter?
They're on Twitter and they are a TikTok account, but they post their TikToks too. So they take Libs of TikTok. So they find all these liberal TikToks and they put the videos on Twitter. And then this is what Twitter does. So Twitter repeatedly informed Chaya Raichik, who runs the account, that she had been suspended for violating Twitter's policy against hateful conduct, which you
I've
lost
seen some
me.
shit on Twitter. I've seen some shit on Twitter that should absolutely be reported.
But the problem here is she wasn't saying hateful things about these videos. She was just taking videos that people post and putting them on Twitter and not giving any context. So
yeah,
I wouldn't really count that as hateful conduct. Like the obvious implication is look how ridiculous these people are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
But in an internal SitPiss memo from October 2022, after her 7th suspension, the committee acknowledged that Libs of TikTok has not directly engaged in behavior violative of the hateful conduct policy. These are the fucking emails you fucking delete.
So these are definitely the emails that you scrub and get rid of. Yeah.
Because if you suspend one account 7 times,
yeah,
don't go fucking telling your friends actually they've never violated the hate policy that we suspended them 7 times from, because that's ridiculous. The committee justified her suspensions internally by claiming her post encouraged online harassment of hospitals and medical providers by insinuating that gender affirming healthcare is equivalent to child abuse or grooming. And they have to say stuff like she was insinuating this.
Right. Because they can't legally say that she did do it.
Yeah. Because maybe if I go back to, because from the only post that I've seen is she just posts videos. So maybe she had talked about,
yeah.
Or she posted videos of people saying that the gender affirming healthcare is equivalent to health, child abuse and grooming and stuff. And then, so that's the end of Twitter Files 2. They give more examples of people that SitPiss went after if you actually go in and read them. And I will add those links in the email or in the show notes so you can go check it out.
It's kind of cool. Like she says to watch Matt Taibbi for the next installment. So they are like working on it together, which is kind of a neat way to link it all together. So next time when we do it are we doing the removal of Donald Trump next? Is that
yeah, that's Twitter file number 3.
Okay.
But actually we're let me just see. So we'll do that, but I kind of wanted to not go as in depth on the removal of Trump.
Yeah, totally. Because most people know about it. It was the nicest time on Twitter when he wasn't even active. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Well, that and it's like 2, 3.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
3 different Twitter files.
Yeah,
it's like 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah,
and one's by excuse me.
You okay? Got the burps?
Got the coughs.
Oh yeah, I had the coughs a couple times. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't think I muted in time.
I didn't hear you coughing, so
okay, because I kind of went away and like one of those.
It might have been because I was
that was
talking,
my chair. If you got the audio, that was it's not going to do it now because you're watching.
Yeah. Well, mostly I just want to try to skim over the Donald Trump removal because
that's totally fine.
3 different Twitter threads and took us an hour to get through 2. So
yeah. I think we'll be faster on the next ones. This today was the feeling out and the setup process for it. So yeah. All right.
And tangents.
Yeah, tangent factory. I'll try to not go on so many tangents next time. Let's wrap this up. I got to get rolling.
Yeah, me too.
You got to go get my groceries.
Even my voice doesn't want me to keep going because I don't know what happened. I think I just dried out. I dried out.
I'm all dry.
You know what it was? It was that emphatic talking. It was my narrator voice.
It was your narrator voice. It totally was. Your narrator voice dried out your vocal cords for sure. All right. So thank you
Okay.
for joining us for the Dale Show on Twitter Files episode 1, Twitter Files part 1, whatever the episode is. Don't forget
Episode 26.
26. Don't forget, Dale, you want to do the merch speech?
Yeah, buy some merch. We
cool
have mugs.
TDS.
If you want one of these particular mugs, you have to message me though, because these are from Costco and I have to order them separately. But there are mugs you can order directly off of the Redbubble website. They are 12 ounce. These ones are 16 ounces.
They hold a full can. They hold a full can of soda
Yeah.
or the beverage of your choice that is 355 milliliters in Canadian measurements.
And if you don't speak Imperial, 8 ounces is 250 milliliters. So 12 ounces is 375, and then 16 ounces is 500 milliliters. Yeah. And you could get like the Dale Show logo, which you can see there. That's the Tri-Skull logo. Jeff has the Tri-Skull and the letter logo. You could get those on t-shirts, stickers, and pretty much anything you want. The links are in the show notes. It's just my username is Dalebot on Redbubble, and all the designs are on there. There are other designs too. We do have a Patreon if you feel bad for me and want to give me money because Twitter shadow banned me and I can't get money there.
Visibility filtered.
Well, that's true. If you want to unvisibility filter my life and make me rich and famous so I could quit my welder job so I can go back to school and learn how to read, apparently, that would be nice.
Just Dale's got to go back and take some advanced reading classes.
I'll put the link in the show notes. It's just the Dale Show on Patreon. If you want to send us an email, we don't have an email. You could just comment under this video and I'll see it. Or if you're listening to this on audio, I guess just go to outragefactpod@gmail.com. I'm the guy who runs the email for Outrage Factory, so I'll see them there. So just message me, be like, hey, this is for the Dale Show, not Outrage Factory. Although it's me on both shows, so whatever complaints or admirations you have would go for either one. But if it's for Jeff, you would have to write the Dale Show.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, if you just say your bald co-host is quite handsome,
you're batting 100 on that one.
The other co-host is Derek, and he is also bald.
Yeah, there's 100% chance if you refer to somebody as the bald co-host, you get both of us. Yeah.
But secret time, Jeff's more attractive than
start again.
There you go.
Again with the compliments. Oh, damn. If you want to try and find us on the interwebs, you can find me at Mr. Goats, MisterGoats on the Twitter machine.
Sorry, you can find me at Super Dalebot on Twitter machine. TikTok, I haven't posted a podcast video in a while, but it's just Dale DeRuiter.
TikTok account.
You don't really.
Yeah.
It'll just annoy you.
Yeah.
I know you.
Like my Twitter account and my Facebook account, they both annoy me. Yeah, totally.
Actually, TikTok can be good if you tweak your algorithm to only show you what you want.
Yeah.
Because mine's like all people making stuff.
That'd be cool.
Power tools and stuff.
Nice.
I'm such an old dude when it comes to TikTok.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's it.
Right on.
That's it.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, and until next time,
we'll see you on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.